Well, a very special chat today. I want to talk to the president of Sydney Legacy. Legacy was formed in 1921, so this year is actually the centenary of Legacy. In Sydney it was formed in 1926, and it has 15 metropolitan divisions within the Sydney area. Being a legatee is an extraordinarily rewarding thing to do. The aim is to ensure that no spouse or child of a veteran suffers, so it helps them grow and survive. The first female president of Sydney Legacy is Nikki Hollis. Nikki, how are you?
I'm very, very well, thanks, Gareth.
Your tenure, how many years is a normal tenure for a president?
2 years.
And at the end of the 2 years, can you extend, or are you...
Not traditionally, no. No, you stand down and let the vice president take over the role.
So 2022 is Nikki's last day.
Feather duster.
Look, I've got to ask, why Legacy? How did you get in? What motivated you? Because you come from an electrical engineering background.
I do. Look, I fell in love with the cause. I used to volunteer on Badge Day for about 5 years. And I just was blown away by the whole thing about legacy, and I thought, you know what, I can do more than just 1 day a year. So I put my hand up, and that was the end of that.
So what was the process of actually becoming president? How did that happen?
Oh, well, it was a tap on the shoulder, really, a phone call. You become vice president. So the incumbent president rang me and said, what would I think about becoming the vice president? And I did the usual, me? What? Really?
Yeah.
You sure? And a female as well, really? Anyway, I was given 24 hours to have a think about that, and everybody around me was saying, don't do it, you already do enough. And I thought, you know what, this is such a privilege, having been asked, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
So that was it. So I did my term as vice president for 2 years, which was not much at all, and
Sure.
then took over the
And it's a
the
voluntary
office.
position, isn't it?
Totally voluntary.
And you're virtually coming in every day, working in the office, not during COVID so much, but pre-COVID?
It's a big job. It's a big job. So you're either it's either at home or in the office, or you're on the road. Yeah.
It is such an amazing organisation, and someone watching this right now really should try and find a way to get involved with Legacy. What I'd like to do is just take you through some of the services, and you can tell me what's involved. For example, you have the holidays and the camps. Now, what does that mean? What happens there?
Traditionally we have two camps at Terrigal every year, and we're actually extending it next year to 3. And so we take the families to the camp, and this time I'm very excited because we've got two males coming with their families, which is
To assist?
To be part of the family. So
that's
they've
great.
got two families that have the male as the veterans, the family support person. So the parent in this case. So that's very, very exciting for us. So we hope more of that happens, because traditionally the males are a bit
reluctant to.
Yeah.
I'll stand behind and you do that. I understand. Don't worry. I understand.
Yeah.
What about income support? How does that help?
Income support from Legacy
From
to the
Legacy
families.
to the family.
Oh, look, it's huge. I mean, that's our. We're there to help them out if they need financial assistance. Certainly, we do that. For the kids, we provide pocket money. The very basic level. We have 3 tiers of support throughout our family. So the basic level, tier 1. We provide pocket money, and we provide a laptop every 3 years for the kids. That's the basic level of support. After that, level 2, slightly more involved. Level 3 is whatever the family needs. I mean, we just support them financially, emotionally, until we can get them back on their feet. Our aim is to get them to say, thanks,
They can
we're
survive
okay now.
And live happily.
We're always there for them, always.
Sure.
But we want to get them to that stage where they're independent.
You keep on using the word family. A family presupposes children.
Yes.
And I know that one of the things that Legacy does is a school support program. What's involved there?
Yeah, we can support them through school. So we can provide school uniforms. We provide after-school care, preschool care, school fees. Again, this is more or less your level 3 structure, but we just don't want kids to be disadvantaged by the fact that they've lost a parent to the services.
I really want to know, and someone watching you as well wants to know, how does a family actually get connected to Legacy, so that Legacy knows that this is a family we've got to help? What's the process?
We've had a bit of trouble with that because it's largely due to word of mouth. But fortunately, at the moment, we used to have contact through the DVA, and they would give us the names of the veterans that had died or given their health, and that under the laws of privacy, etc., that went by the way, which caused a lot of grief for us because we couldn't reach out to those families. We didn't know where they are or who they are. We've recently had a much better connection with DVA, and what they are doing now is notifying the family that these Legacy and other ESOs are available for them, and we will be they've given a month to decide whether they want to contact us or not, and then if they go through with it, then we will contact them. But obviously we don't just barge in, we leave them to suffer their initial grief.
And do you find when you contact a family after they've contacted you, do you find there's a reluctance to become involved with Legacy, or are they so pleased that yes, someone is there to help me?
Do you know what, often I get intrigued by this response from a lot of the families. They say, why would we join Legacy? My husband is still alive. There's a preconceived idea that the husband or the spouse has to be deceased, and it's not the case because we support families that have given their health. So if we've got a veteran that is suffering from PTSD or any other mental illnesses or anything like that, you are eligible to join Legacy, and we desperately want them to.
You mentioned PTSD. Let's assume male or female trooper comes back, has that as a problem, and violence is part of the thing, and the spouse then has to leave that person or separate from that person. Does Legacy get involved in that kind of negotiation or that kind of support?
We support the family as much as we possibly can. We don't tend to. There are many ESOs and many services out there that we will direct them to give them that sort of assistance. We obviously can't cover everything. We don't find them a house or that sort of thing, but we will certainly help them financially, whatever it needs to get them stabilised. We do have stabilization packages, so if a family comes to us in sudden distress and grief like violence, they've had to bolt, whatever, we have what we call a stabilisation package. So we put food on the table, we put petrol in the car, we get them steady and stabilised.
All of that presupposes money, and Legacy is a charity.
Yep. So
I've got to ask, where does the income come from?
From the public, and it's getting so much harder now with cashless society. Really so hard. We now are. It's traditionally we've always relied on the public for nearly 100 years now to finance us, and we're now reaching out to corporations, donors, all that. We're going down that road to try and get support because we don't get government support. We get less than 1% of our income is through government support. So we really do desperately need to find other avenues because, as I say, our badge day and everything, which is our traditional day, not only for income but for public awareness of the Legacy brand. But people don't carry cash, and we can't send all these children out with FPOS machines and everything. It's just not logical.
Very much so. And with the fact that there are so many charities in Australia now, and the fact that we've just gone through a COVID crisis for the last 2 years, how has that impacted on
Hugely, Gareth, hugely. I mean, we've got 2 years now we've not been able to hold our traditional annual fundraising events. So, I mean, we look to raise perhaps $1 million a year. So, I mean, this year I think the final figures are in, we're maybe scraping at 300,000. That's not enough.
Does Sydney Legacy, I talked about there being 15 metropolitan groups connected to Sydney Legacy, so the money Sydney raises, that goes to help them as well, or do they individually are responsible for raising their own income?
Look, they raise whatever they can. Regional areas, obviously, they haven't got the same opportunities that we have in Sydney, so they just reach out to us. Anybody can reach out to Sydney Legacy. If they need help, we'll help. We find it really hard to say no.
We're doing this chat prior the Sydney Legacy lunch. It's held every November. How important to you is that, A, as a way of promoting Legacy, and B, as a way of raising income?
Hugely, Gareth, hugely, because again, it's the public relations. It's getting our brand out there, and as you mentioned before, the competition of so many charities around. And of course, it's Remembrance Day, and it's a special time for everybody involved in the forces and ESOs. We hope fingers crossed, we hope to get some corporate donors on board.
I hope so too. You're watching Nikki right now and you're probably saying, how can I help? How can I help? Now, you can become a legatee, can't you? Someone watching you right now can put their hand up and say, I want to help. How do they do that?
Please just reach out to Legacy, any Legacy, any branch, wherever you are. Reach out to us, just a phone call. Our website, www.legacy.com.au. I think the number's 1-800-800-295.
We won't worry about the telephone number. It's legacy.com.au.
And please just reach out, ask the question. We're here to answer any questions that you have about joining us and becoming a legatee.
Okay, all right. I'm going to join. What do I have to do?
Right.
What do I do once I'm a legatee?
Okay, you will be given a list of beneficiaries from whatever local club that you are associated with. You'll be given a list of beneficiaries. Traditionally, most of the clubs out there, the 15 clubs, have got the elderly widows that we look after. We call them the younger widows. That means they're in their 60s. Most of our dear widows now are in their 80s and 90s, and quite a few are in their hundreds. And you would be given a list to look after. So that involves phone calls, perhaps going around having a cup of tea. It's just to stop the social isolation. Personal support, always. That's our ethos. That's our raison d'etre. We are. It's personal support and ongoing personal support. We don't ever stop. So, and of course, if you have families, you'll be. It's a different kettle of fish. So. And
can I be attached to a family so that I support the kids and take the kids to movies or to a playground or whatever? Does that come part of it, or?
Yes, you become the support person. So you're a shoulder to cry on for the mum and or the dad in that case. And you're there for the kids to watch them, to be a part of their lives, and to make sure again that they are not disadvantaged.
A sensitive question now about becoming involved with the family. Does that legatee have to go through a police check before they become involved with children?
All legatees must go through a police check.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is that an easy process?
And working with children, absolutely easy. You just go to Service New South Wales, do the paperwork. That's it. You get a little card, off you go.
Okay, that's easy. Now look, you've got your second year coming up in 2022, and therefore another vice president will take over. If you look back, what would you pick out as something you are very proud of to have achieved as president currently?
It's been such a huge honour to be the first female, and I think an awful lot of the families have really, really sort of gelled with me as a female, and I'm told this constantly, which has just been absolutely wonderful. And of course, not just the families, but others as well. They're all quite chuffed that we have a female, and so that to me has been a huge honour to be able to carry that little private banner.
Is your current vice president a female?
No.
So, I mean, we do live in a community still where there's a presupposition that the male does this and the female does that. How can Legacy help break that nexus, because it's a sick nexus? It is.
Look, I get tremendous support from our board and from our management committee. So it's a work in progress. I think in any industry and any charity, any corporation, that it is a work in progress to get to that level of where it's 100% acceptance.
Sure.
But as I say, I get tremendous support, and I've very little pushback. So.
Well, from what I've been able to do with work with Legacy over the last couple of years, you are an inspiration, Nikki. You really are. You've done an amazing job, and you continue to do. And I know that when you've finished as president, you'll continue to support Legacy.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that you could become a family that Legacy helps if your spouse is not deceased. So that's something I didn't know. You've now helped me know that. What is something about Legacy that maybe people don't know about?
I think that's the main thing, Gareth, is that your partner does not have to be deceased. That would probably be the main thing that people don't know about, and then also that we support the children 100%, that we provide all these things for the children. A lot of people, again, they just think it's just another charity out there, but they don't really know the ins and outs. Again, by looking at our website,
Yep.
you can see all these things. We've got, for example, beneficiaries with disabilities. A lot of them are in their older age, so they've been with us for years and years and years, and we still continue to support them, because when you've got a child with a disability, and you must spend your whole life worrying what's going to happen to them when I die, who will look after them, and they stay with us for life. And
Yep. These
beautiful.
men and women who have served overseas, who've either come back with a disability and therefore the family needs help, or have died and the family needs help. There are so many organisations that claim to help but don't. There are so many issues with a returned person who's fought overseas or been involved in the Defence Forces overseas. Legacy is there to help. We've got to get that message out loud and clear so that people know you exist.
Yes.
That's important.
It is important, and it's sometimes it's overwhelming, because you think, we've been going for nearly 100 years now. Why is it so hard for people to get the message? I mean, we used to be, and I keep getting told this by a lot of my legatees that have been around a lot longer than I have, that we used to have a huge PR or a huge public image in society, which has diminished over the years. And personally, I think that's probably because there's so many others that have come along in competition to us. But we're still there. We've been there for this long. These other ones, fly by night is probably wrong. Temporary.
Yep.
But they don't have the ongoing support. They might stabilise the family. They might throw money at them or give them temporary accommodation or whatever, and say, right, you're done, off you go, we'll do the next one. That's not us. We're there forever. We're there as long as they need us. We're there.
We're there. I've noticed proportionally since the 80s, Anzac Day and Remembrance Day, the population, the numbers of people attending has increased each year. And there are so many young people now going to Anzac Day ceremonies at Martin Place and Remembrance Day services, which are coming up on the 11th of November. There must be a way to tap in to that increment in numbers of young people, especially, to let them know you exist, you're there to help if they know someone who's been a family that's lost a member overseas. Legacy.com.au. We won't worry about the number. Nikki,
Okay.
Look, thank you for what you've done thus far, and I know you'll continue to work. Legacy is there to help. Legacy is there to make a difference.
Definitely.
You can have the last say about Legacy. What are you proud about?
I'm so proud of the organisation, but what I desperately need is new, younger legatees to please carry the torch forward. A lot of us are reaching the age where it's very hard, and we've got a lot of legatees in their 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, still doing the work that they're doing, but we need to replace them, and we need to replace them with younger people. And obviously the best people we feel now is defence personnel and ex-defence personnel. They're the ones that understand, they're the ones that know. They are the ones that should be able to carry on the promise, and that's so important, to carry on the promise to look after the missus and kids. Please, younger legatees, please give us a go. Please give us a call and offer to help.